Hey, all, what's up? It's Coach Hyde, coming to you live from the biotech lab room. Today we're going to be looking at using serological pipettes and a couple of little things to show you how those work. So let's get to it. So this is still in Unit 1, Chapter 1, so we're getting ready to learn our skills for our test. So this is our serological pipette. They come in many different sizes. This one here is a 10 milliliter serological pipette. They can go down to where this one would be 1 milliliter. So each little section is a tenth of a mil. Now we're just going to use the big one for now. You're going to use a couple different things. This is a serological pipette pump, right? So you would use it by rotating this, whereas this is a electronic or automatic one. You don't use this one as much, okay? Only on special occasions. So typically you'll be using something that looks like this. So to begin, we're going to remove our pipette. So as you can see, I think you see, so we start at 0 here and work our way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On the other side, it's very small numbers. You can't see it, but it goes from 0 to 10 this way. This cotton ball up here, all right, protects the pump, right? You do not ever want the water line to go above this level, or you risk, tearing up your equipment. So to load this, we got a hole here, right? We're going to kind of wedge it in there. Not super forceful, but you got to be forceful. What I like to do when our practices are, we're going to draw the liquid up to 0. So I'm going to run this up, okay, until my liquid gets up to 0. So then I will figure out how much. We're going to add, I don't know, we'll add 7 milliliters to our cuvette over here. So we're not in place. What we like to do is I'm going to slide this back in the case just to practice good lab techniques, trying to keep everything clean and not being contaminated. Here we have our test tube rack. We have our test tube, plastic test tube. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Okay, so that to the side. All right, and then we have our sample. So I'm going to again remove this from the plastic. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pipette up to the 0. So that would be 10 milliliters. So into my liquid. So I don't know if we can see here, but it's kind of hard to tell. All right, but there's a convex, right, or concave, whatever it is, and we want to measure to the bottom of that. So this appears to be slightly above the line for the 0, but at the bottom of the well there, the concave, it will be equal to the 0. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move above our test tube, and we're going to go down. We're going to go the opposite way. So there's 1 milliliter. Now I've added 2. Now I've added 3, 4. I'm looking at the bottom of that concaveness. 5, 6, and hard to do this without stretch the arm. It's a little too far, but so you see we are down to 7. So we started at 0. We added 7 milliliters to our sample. All right, and we can go ahead and just discharge this back into our thing. Again, if I don't want to lay this down on the table, let's just slide it back into our case. Trying to have good lab practices, trying to remain as sterile as possible. So if we look at our test tube, right, I'm going to go ahead and throw the top back on there. If I did a good job, we should have 7 milliliters. So I went a little bit past it when I was pipetting it in. So I had about 7 milliliters, 7.1 milliliters in here. So this would not be good. But yeah, kind of check yourself there. But not all of these test tubes will have markings on them as well. So I'm just going to kind of dump this back in here. Back in our sample. Okay, I'm going to remove the manual, and I'm going to insert, same thing, same concept. I'm going to insert our pipette into here. This has 2 buttons here. So you see one is going to draw the liquid up, one is going to draw it down or let it go. So same concept. I'm going to go over our sample, right? Now if I hit this button up on the top, right, the top button, oh, is my battery dead? There we go. So the speed at which this happens, I had mine all the way down. There's an indicator light right here. You see that? I can change the speed at which it's going to withdraw the liquid up into the thing. So again, I'm gonna go all the way up to 0. I can't really see where my 0 is at. Get that where the 0 is visual for me. Go all the way to 0. Right, now I'm gonna use the bottom button, okay? I'm gonna go to my sample here, and let's do 5 milliliters. So now I'm starting at 0, so I'm going to just, there's 1, 2, 3, I don't know if you can see the letters, 4, 5, let's say we're going to go 5.5. So now we'll go to the halfway point. It's also on here, it is graduated. And I'm looking at the bottom of that concave right on 5.5. Right, I'm gonna sit this down, but I'm gonna go ahead and let this liquid out. As you see here, it looks like I might not quite got all the way to 5.5. You see the bottom of the concaveness there. So let's go, kind of hard to do from the side here. And let's just drop another one in there. Right, let's see where we're at now. Oh, I went blew by it. Oh well. So let's get rid of this. Put that back in the sleeve. I want to go ahead and disconnect this before I lay it down. If we check and see where we're at, pretty close to 5.5 on this time. Okay, so that is how to use the serological pipette and transfer liquids from one container to the next. All right, that's it. Let's catch y'all in the next one.